All right, welcome to Frank Teaches DevOps. Welcome, my lovely viewers. All right, so in today's episode, I will be discussing about VPC peering. I've I've not had this on my channel, and I've had um, most of my fans requesting for um, a basic understanding. All right, a basic understanding and a basic use case of VPC pairing. All right, so VPC pairing is nothing but um, a a networking feature of VPC that allows resources or services in two different VPCs to communicate with each other. All right, so let's look by this definition. I'll explain properly. All right. So by this definition, it says a VPC peering connection is a networking connection between two VPCs, all right, that enables you to route traffic between them using IPv4, private IPv4 addresses, or IPv6 addresses. Now, what this definition is telling us that a VPC pairing connects two VPCs together, assuming you have VPC A and you also have VPC B. So these are two different um, network infrastructures. All right. Now, for these two VPCs to communicate with each other, you need a connector. All right. You need a connector called a peering connector. Right, between VPC A and VPC B. So that is what this VPC pairing is. So a pairing connection between this guy, all right, and this guy, all right. So this connection, this small piece, is responsible for allowing traffic between VPC A and VPC B. So let's go further. Instances in either VPC, instances, all right? It could be instances, it could be EC2 instances, it could be other services, all right? Instances in either of these VPC, either A or B, can communicate with each other as if they are within the same network. All right? So let me go further where you understand it properly. Now, assuming I have VPCA with this CEDAR block 11.0.0.0/16 and VPCB with this CEDAR 12.0.0.0/16. Now, if I create an EC2 instance, all right, and this EC2 instance happens to pick an IP address, assume you know this guy has to pick a private IP address of, let's say, 11.0.1.175/24, right? And this EC2B happens to pick an IP of, let's say, 12.0.1.150, or as the case may be, right? You can see these two IP address belongs to two different networks. They belong to what? Two different networks. And so they cannot and can never communicate with each other. They cannot and can never communicate with each other. The only way these two IPs, sorry, these two resources, these two VPC or resources in these two VPC to communicate with each other is only if there is a peering connection, between VPC A and VPC what? B. Then EC2A with this IP and EC2B with this IP would be able to communicate with each other. So without further ado, let's quickly, all right, look at the implementation. Okay, look at the implementation of what? VPC peering, and all of the visual um, explanation, or like visual demonstration I'm going to carry out. So let me start with what? VPC what? A. Take notes. VPC peering is nothing but trying to pair connections of what? Between what? Trying to create connection between two VPCs, right? Two VPC. Great. Now, the moment you have more than two VPC, it is not recommended to use VPC pairing. However, you can still pair the connection. However, you can still pair the connection. However, you can still pair this connection, but it might look so messy, in the sense that, let me just show us something. Now, for instance, now I have VPC A. I have VPC A. Let me and oh, sorry. Let me copy this, and this is VPC B, and this is. I just want to show us an illustration. VPC C. Okay. Now copy all of this. Copy paste. I don't want to show us that VPC. Oh, sorry. That VPC and that. So assuming now you have these number of VPCs. This is 3 by 3. This is 9 VPCs. I need to interconnect all of these VPCs to work perfectly. All right, to work perfectly. So it means that I have to manually create, all right, pairing connection here. All right, I have to manually what? Create a pairing connection between each of these words, VPCs. There will be a pairing connection between VPC A and B. There will be between B and C. Likewise, there will be between this. You will also have, sorry, between this, and you have this and this. You also have connection. This is very complex. Between this, you have connection. So you see, you're going to create a lot of pairing, BPC pairing, right? You're going to create a lot of BPC pairing all over the place, right? All over the place, right? So by the time you try to do all of these, it becomes very complex, very complex and confusing, right? So AWS came up with a an AWS service called Transit Gateway. So with Transit Gateway, I should be able to pair more than two VPCs, right? The moment the VPC is more than two, you don't need a VPC pairing. Rather, you need what we call a transit gateway, okay? A transit gateway. So I won't be going much into deeper explanation of transit gateway, because today's lecture is about VPC pairing. I will be focusing more on what? VPC pairing. All right. So, but the moment your VPC is more than two, the best service, all right, the best solution for pairing is transit what? Gateway. All right. Great. So now let's now hop into AWS, all right, and see how we can create these infrastructures. First of all, we are going to create VPCA, all right, with its supporting features, the subnet A route table, and internet gateway for A, then the associations, all right, the routable associations, etc., and etc. And we'll do the same thing with what VPCB. So let's start with what VPCA. So I'll come over here. I'll take my time. All right. So here's my VPC. Okay, I'm having some error. I'm having some error. All right. So let's go to VPC, and I have it here already. Click on VPC. This thing takes time. I don't know why it's taking much time. So, like I said, we are going to be creating this VPC as it is, all right? The way it is, okay? Creating this infrastructure the way it is, all right? VPC A with this CEDA block, subnet A with this subnet, a routable, and internet gateway. So, sorry, I didn't mention something. We also need, we also need a security group. All right, so this is a security group. This is a security group. This is a security group. In all of that, copy and paste. Then we'll also create B security group. This will be B security group. So let's go back to the VPC. All right, great. Create VPC and VPC only. So this will be VPC A. All right, and the CEDA block is 11.0.0.0/16. And I think that's all. That's all. Click on what? Create. So VPC A is getting created and created. So the next we need to create is what? Subnet. Subnet A. All right. Take note. So click on what? Subnet and click on create subnet. Specify the VPC that this subnet needs to belong to. So this subnet will belong to what? VPC what? A. Great. Then what's the subnet name? Subnet will be what? Sub A. That's subnet A. Then the availability zone, I want to put it in EU West 1A. Then the CEDA block of the subnet will be 11.0.1.0/24. Okay, /24, and that's all. Click on what? Create subnet. So similar thing we have here. Similar thing we have here. All right. Now the next thing we need to create is what? A route table. Let's go back there. Let's go back there. So I'll come to what? Route tables and click on what? Create route table. I'll say a route table, RT for short. Now this route table need to belong to a VPC. So it belongs to what? VPC what? A. Okay? Then that's all. Click on what? Create route table. So we've created the what? The route table. The next thing we need to create what? Is internet gateway. Let's go there. Come to VPC. Come to what? Where is IGW? Internet gateway. So internet gateway, I'll come here and click on what? Create internet gateway. So I'll give it a name, IGWA. All right, this is a internet gateway. All right, as we have it here, IGWA. All right, create internet gateway. Click on what? Create. So simple, straightforward. Now we need to what? Attach this internet gateway because it is the state is what is already detached. We need to attach this internet gateway to a VPC, which is VPC A. So click on what? Action. Click on what? Attach to VPC. Then select the VPC. The VPC is what? VPC what? A. That's that. And click on what? Attach internet gateway. So this internet gateway has what? Been attached. So far we have accomplished this route. We've created the VPC A, we've created subnet A, we've created routable A, we also created what? Internet gateway A. So now the next thing we need to do now, we need to create associations, all right? So we need to associate the subnets to the routable as well as the uh, um, internet gateway towards the routable as well. So let's go back there. So come back here, go to your routable. So where's our routable? Our routable is ART. Click on ART, click on routes, go to route. All right. So far, we only have what one route on our routable. So click on what edit what route. So on edit route, we need to add what route. So the first route we are adding is the internet gateway. So the internet gateway usually comes with a CEDAR of 0.0.0.0/0, which signifies anywhere. All right, access to anywhere. Okay. Now, what is the target? The target is going to be an internet gateway. So click on internet gateway. You see the internet gateway that we created, which was IGW what A. Select it, and that is all. Click on what save changes. Save changes. So as you see from our diagram, we have associated what our internet gateway with what the routable. Next, we need to associate the subnets to our what routable. So let's go back there. So go to subnet, click on subnet A, okay, and then click on routable, and click on routable, and click on edit what routable. Now I want to associate my subnet towards my A routable. So this is my what A routable. So click on that and click on what save. So at this juncture, this subnet has internet access, right? Because this subnet could reach the IGW, the internet gateway, is a service, is a feature that is providing internet access to what to the subnet, right? So this is now a public routable, which means that it is routable on the internet. Okay, great, great. So we're going to do the similar thing on what VPCB. All right. So VPCB. So I'll go back to my VPC. Click on VPC. All right. Create VPC. VPC is VPC what? B. The CEDAR block is 12.0.0.0/16. Okay, that's all. Click on what? Create VPC. Now, next thing is what? Subnet. Click on subnet, create subnet. Now, under which VPC are you creating the subnet? Under VPC B, we are creating the subnet. Now, what's the subnet name? Subnet is sub what? Sub B. Okay, and the availability zone, I want to take the second availability zone. All right, doesn't matter. The CEDAR block of the subnet will be 12.0.1.0/24. Okay, that's all. Click on what? Create subnet. Okay, now the subnet, as you see from our diagram, B has been created. So the next thing is what? BRT, which is B route table. All right, B route table. So go to routables and click on create routable and BRT. That's the name of the routable. Which VPC do you want this routable to belong to? I want to belong to what? VPC B. That's all. Click on what? Create routable. So the next we need to create is what? Internet gateway B. All right. So go to internet gateway and create internet gateway and IGWB. So that's the name. Simple. Create internet gateway. So internet gateway has been created so far, but it has not been what attached to what a VPC. It's either you click on this notification bar, or you click on the action and click on what attach to what VPC. Select the VPC you need to attach the internet gateway to. So the VPC is what? VPC what? B. Click on what? Attach internet gateway. So this IGW has successfully been attached towards the internet gateway. So the VPC has been attached to the internet gateway. Now the next thing we need to do is what? Create associations. So go back, go to your routable. On your routable, click on routes, right? Have we? Sorry, this is A route. Sorry. Go to B route. Sorry. I was just wondering. Go to routable, click on your B routes, go to routes, all right, and click on what? Edit route. Now add a route, like we said, 000 for what? Internet gateway. So internet gateway what? B. Click on what? Save changes. Now we've done that association. The next thing we need to do is what? Subnet associations. While we are still on what? The route table for B, click on subnet associations and click on what? Edit subnet association. All right. All right. Let me not go like this. Let's go through subnets. Go through subnets. Select the subnet, which is subnet B. Click on route table. All right. Click on what? Edit route table association. Okay. Now select the route table ID, which is what? BRT. So this is the BRT, the route table that we want to what? Associate our subnet what? To. So this is what we have. Click on what? Save. So as this guy is now, this VPCB now has complete internet access, right? So now we need to also edit some subnet settings. So let me start with subnet A. Let me enable um, automatic IPv4 assignment. All right, enable auto assign IP public IPv4. Okay, check that box and click on what? Save. So I'll do the same thing with subnet B. Here's subnet B. I'll go to actions and click on what? Edit subnet settings. And I'll click check this box. Auto assign IP settings. Enable auto assign IPv4 address. Save. So now that we have accomplished all of these, the next step is what? To create EC2 instances. Create an EC2 instance based on what? Subnet A, and create an EC2 instance based on what? Subnet B. So let's get started. So I'll go to EC2 instance, EC2. So remember, we are creating two instances because we want to test out uh, VPC peering. We want to test it out. So, sorry, launch instance. This will be what? EC2, EC2A. All right. So this EC2A based on Amazon Linux, and the Linux distribution is Amazon Linux 2. The key pair. So key pair is Frankie's. The networking. The VPC is what? VPCA. Based on VPCA, the subnet is sub A, and you can see auto assign IP is already enabled. All right. Now the security group, we are going to be creating a security group called ASG. All right. ASG is a security group, and that's all. Click on what? Launch instance. So our EC2A instance is getting what? Created. Let's view it. So these are EC2A. Now let's create another instance called EC2B based on what? EC2B based on VPCB. So we'll do similar thing. All right. Amazon Linux 2. Okay. Key pair is Frankie's network settings. VPC is based on what? VPCB. All right. Subnet B. Then the what's it called? The security group is BSG, and that's all. Click on what? Launch instance. All right, great. So let's view the instances. So we now have EC2A and what? EC2B. So you can see, let's get their public IP addresses. So EC2A is this is the public IP, sorry, the private IP. Private IP. We are concerned about what? The private IP. So that's the private IP of oh sorry. Okay, so bold it. So this is the private IP. Let me delete this. This is the private IP of EC2 EC2A. All right, let me EC2A. All right, this is a private IP. Then for EC2B, let's check that of EC2B. EC2B. So this is what? Its own private IP. All right, let's go there. Let's go there. Paste it. This was 12 and bold. All right. So now this is it. Okay, great. So let's see how we can access these two machines. Let me start with what? EC2A. So click on connect and instance connect. I'll do the same thing with what? EC2B. EC2B, click on connect and connect. So let me interchange these guys. So here is EC2A and there is EC2B. All right. So you can see, let's test public connectivity. So if I try to ping Google, I can reach Google because this system, the EC2 instance is exposed to the internet. All right. So this is EC2A. Then this EC2B, ping Google. Oh, sorry, ping Google. So they are both responding what to external communication. All right. Great. Now, can they talk to each other? Now, what's my address? This address is copy, copy this guy, come to EC2B. This EC2B. So if I say ping EC2A, all right. So pinging EC2A is fertile. It's not going because there's no route between VPCA and VPCB. Let's do the same thing here. Um let me copy this guy. Let me copy this guy, the private IP of EC2B, and ask EC2A to ping it. Okay. So you can see these two instances are running on two different networks. These two instances, EC2A is running on 11.0 network, while EC2B is running on 12.0 network. So there is no correlation, right? There's no relationship between EC2A and EC2B. Okay, but the only way we can create a relationship between EC2A and EC2B is by creating what? A peering connection between their VPCs, their respective VPCs. Okay, so as we have it here, you can see they can't ping. All right, pinging is not possible. So if I terminate it, you see that I'll have 100% packet loss. There was 100% packet loss. I tried again, no way. I'll do the same thing here. Yeah, it will be there was 100% what? Packet lost. All right, I tried again, same thing. Okay, so now let's go and see how we can what? Create a peering connection to connect VPC A and VPC what? B. So let's go there. So go back to your VPC. Down the blade, the menu, you should see a peering connection. So click on peering connections. So we don't have any peering connection. So click on what? Create peering connection. So once you do that, give it a name. I can call it demo pair or my pair. I can say my pair. All right. Or I can say my VPC pair. Now, this is what's going to happen. All right. Now, it says we select a requester. There's something called a requester ID and an acceptor ID. Now, when connecting two VPCs together, all right, either of these would be a receptor or a what's the name again? All right, a requester or an acceptor. All right, either of these, it doesn't matter. Um, it doesn't matter the flow. B could be a requester or acceptor. Either okay. Also, A could be a requester or the acceptor. So either ways, it's going to work. So, but in this context, let's just say A is my what? Is my requester. So A is requesting, all right? VPC A is requesting, and here is the CEDAR block of VPC A, right? So my acceptor, who is going to accept request from the other VPC, is going to be my what? VPC what? B. So that's it. That's it. So next thing I need to do is what? Click on what? Create peering connection. So I have created a peering connection so far. So this is what we have now with what I've done on AWS. This is what we have. So this is the requester and this is the what? Acceptor. Okay, so we have the requester, um, requester, and we have the acceptor. Okay, acceptor. Great. So we've connected this guy, but so far they won't be able what, to talk to each other. So we are still having what? Connection is not going through. Okay. Now let's go back to VPC. Now that we have created the pairing, so this is the pairing connection, my VPC pair, we need to what? Accept this VPC pairing. So far, um, the status is showing what? Pending acceptance, all right, by this account. So what we'll do now, we go in this same account, in this account. So click on this account, all right, click on action and click on what? Accept request. Accept what? Request. All right. So click on accept request. So you must accept a request for this connection to go through, because in this why we are seeing this request here is because we are using a single account, right? A single account. If it were to be in a situation where we have multiple AWS accounts, all right, I would have logged on to the other AWS accounts to accept, all right, the pairing connection. So that's why you're seeing requester ID. The requester ID will always be displayed. All right, it's very key. Requester ID will always be displayed, and yeah. So great. So now that we have what, we have accepted the pairing connection. Okay, we've accepted the pairing connection. Let's now go further to see, to look at the tricks. All right, the tricks behind the proper connectivity. So this is what's going to happen. All right. Now I'm going to create a route table. I'm going to associate. All right. I'm going to create uh, a new entry in my route table for these route tables, right? Right, a new entry. So that new entry will be these VPCs. They are going to exchange VPCs. Oh, wait, okay. What I say, I'm going to exchange VPCs CEDAR on the two different route tables. Now, assuming now I'm on what? Route table A. So I'm going to share the VPC CEDAR, this VPC B, VPC B with route table A. And I'll do the same thing with what? Um, VPC A with what? Route table B. So this is what's going to happen. So this is my VPC, right? VPC B. Let me copy it, paste it. So I'm going to create an entry in what? In a route table. A route table that's going to point what towards the VPC pairing. So let me copy this VPC pairing as well. So this guy is going to point to this guy. Where should I keep it? So let me keep it here so that I'll understand it very well. So um, this this VPC is going to point towards this pairing connection on a route table. All right, great. So what I'm doing, I exchange what? VPCs. So this guy comes over here. So that's what's happening now. I'm going to do the same thing, similar thing with what? VPC A and route table B. So what's going to happen is we are exchanging routes. So this VPC A comes over here. VPC A comes over here. Sorry, let me change this color. Can I have okay? There's a color. Oh, great, great. So this is for okay. Let me do it properly. Give it a better color. This for that color. Then this has to be for this color. Okay. So this is what VPC B. So in VPC B, I'm going to have similar thing. I'm going to have similar thing. All right. similar thing. Let me copy this, copy, Control C and V. So, so this is what's happening on here. I'll change this color. Great. All right. So this will be what VPCA, VPCA. All right. It's pointing toward the route table. So let's start with what route table A. So route table A. So I'll go towards my VPC and I'll go towards route table. Route table A. We are starting with what route table A. Click on route table A. Go to what route and click on what edit what route. So now I'm going to add a route. So this route I'm adding a route for on route table A. I'm adding a route for VPC B. So VPC B is 12.0.0.0 slash 16 slash 16. All right. So this VPC is pointing towards the peering connection. So where's my peering connection? My peering connection is this. Click on peering connection, and this is the peering connection we created. Enter. So if you can see from our diagram, this VPC B, all right, I'm on route table A. I'm on what? Route table A. Okay, route table A. This connection, this VPC is pointing towards the VPC peering. Now this is what we're having. So this guy is pointing to this guy. So I'll click on what? Save. I have created that route. So now that's route table A. So I'll go to what? Route table B. Click on route table B and I will do similar thing. Let's check our diagram. And I will do similar thing. So I'll point VPC A towards the VPC what? Peering. So come to what? Route table B. Click on route and edit your route and add the route. This will be what? VPCA, which is 11.0.0.0 slash 16. It's pointing to what? Peering connection, which we created, all right? The VPC pair, and click on what? Save. So far, we have what? Created these connections. But if we go back to our EC2 instance, you can see that still we don't have any any traffic. We don't have any traffic, any sign of any traffic coming in because if you look, we've made the entire connections. Everything is working. Is now working. Is now working, right? Why we can't see any traffic is because by default, all right, on AWS, ICMP pinging is disabled. Pinging private resources is disabled. All right, you can't ping private resources. So what we'll do on the security group, we have to enable what? ICMP. Pinging uses a protocol called what? ICMP. All right. So on EC2A, all right, on this EC2A, EC2, EC2A, all right, which uses sub A, we have an ASG, which is A security group, right? So A security groups, let's go there. I'm here. Go to security, and here's the security group. Click on A security group, and click on what? Edit inbound rules. So I'm going to add a rule. Come over here. The type will be all ICMP IPv4. The custom, the type will be anywhere, and click on what? Save. The moment I click on save, let's check one of these EC2 instances. You could see that traffic is now flowing. You can see at this point, you can see that because I have enabled pinging, all right, who is pinging who now? This is EC2B. EC2B could now talk to what? Can now talk to what? EC2A. But EC2A cannot talk to EC2B because ICMP is not enabled through the what? The firewall. So we'll do the same thing for EC2B. So go back to um, your instances, EC2B, security group, click on the security group and click on what? Edit inbound rules. Right? We don't have any rule for ICMP. Add a rule, come over here, and all ICMP anywhere, custom anywhere, click on what? Save. The moment I click on save, if I check here, you see that the traffic is now coming, right? So this is something that is not doable, all right, ordinarily. But with the help of VPC peering, we can see how um, two VPCs, resources in two different VPCs, are able to talk to themselves. All right. So this is the typical implementation of VPC peering. I hope you've enjoyed the entire session. Go back to let's do a recap. So on a recap, we were told that VPC peering is a networking connection between two VPCs that enables you to route traffic between them using private IPv4 addresses. All right. So private IPv4 addresses. So these guys, EC2A and EC2B, they have private IPv4 addresses. All right. So to route traffic between them, we need to use what? A VPC peering connection. So this has been very informative, and I thank you guys for all you do. And I just want to oblige us to try, encourage us, right, by sharing our channel, by sharing, liking, and subscribe. Share our channel with your colleagues so that they will also benefit from what we do on a day-to-day basis. I will leave it here now, and I hope to see you next in our next video. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.